This is Sauti Kuu. We work with kids who are from 4 to 25 years old. I want them to be hungry for something better, because the minute they're hungry for something better, they will work harder to get it.
Carbohydrates, proteins, beans,
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Vitamin, mango,
Yes.
kales,
Yes.
sweet potato.
Yes.
If you're not sure of the answer, when you look at a question mark, you ask either us, if you had internet, if somebody has a smartphone, they go and Google for you. And one of the biggest problems in the urban areas in Kenya and most of Africa is the job creation. What I'm telling the young people is that you're not wealthier by being in the urban area with a white-collar job sitting at a desk, because many people who are in the urban areas do not earn very much. They earn very little money, 150 euros a month. So what they need to realize is, with this soil that they have, the land that they have, that they can cultivate and get an income. I tell the kids, you can still study and become a doctor. You can still work behind a desk, but make sure you're equipped for it. And to be equipped for it means in the urban area to be financially secure. Everything we've grown here, partly it is food, it is fruit. Here we have our oranges and we do the aesthetics. We grow these plants, but at the same time, it's not just aesthetics, because this is also medicinal. Aloe vera, again, medicinal. So all these things are things that we're looking at, possibilities of how the community can realize how valuable what they have. All this is wealth. It's all natural. It's growing wild.
These goats normally feed on napier, shrubs, coriander, and nectar.
Big livestock is more complicated to keep. Cows need more places to go and get grass and eat grass. So what we introduced is we're going to keep goats, because when we give the goats to the children to take home and breed them and make an income from them, they have a smaller space that they need to keep the goats in. And we take all of the dropping, and that dropping becomes manure. There's one of our goats. Hi, good morning. How are you? The challenges we face, people who are in the countryside, they come back to retire, or they're considered failures, and whoever is farming is considered a failure. They forget that that's what feeds them. And on top of that, the rural schools, when they punish children, they make them go to the farm. So you see farming as a punishment, which of course, if it's a punishment, nobody wants to do it. That's why I always say poverty is no excuse. Poverty is a creation in our minds, in our heads. Yes, we do need money. There's certain things we need money for, but not for everything. And if we can get everything else, especially for the people in the rural area, in the countryside, from the land, we will be wealthier by that. And because most of Africa, this is my opinion, is not yet so populated, most of Africa is still rural, we have a chance. So don't see yourselves as poor because you come from the rural area. See yourselves as rich, you just haven't organized yourself. My grandmother still uses the traditional medicines. If I'm feeling ill, she uses the traditional medicine on me, and then we talk about it. And sometimes even I notice I'm a bit reserved and a bit scared. Oh, she wants me to drink that. How can I be sure? You know, you're almost feeling like you need the guy in the white coat to give it a tick and check and say, okay, it's okay, before you do it. But she's 95. She's managed to look after herself using what she has to get what she needs in order to live this long. This is our demonstration garden. This is where we invite the parents to come and see what we are planting here, so that they can't argue and say, oh, you've planted that, but that's because you are, we can't do it. And we say, why not? You have exactly the same soil that we are using. Here, this is a plant called Rosella, and the juice that's made out of it is very good for iron deficiency. Everything on this plot is organic. And the reason is not because we're trying to be fancy or anything. It's just because, first of all, it's the way of life of the people here. Pesticides cost, so you do it traditionally. So we take a mix of chili pepper, papaya leaf, and charcoal, and it's mixed together, and you pour it on the plant. I'm also... Hune kitchen garden maru. Okay. Amosi. Nadi baba. Engema. Amosi. Ronnie. Kara kitchen garden ni ber kama. Ronnie's family is an example. They look poor, but they're not poor.
te wachako kode konya puro to sogili. Sauti Kuu bokonye kora chako kapito kende.
He's just explaining to me how he heard about Sauti Kuu. He was doing nothing at home, so he decided to go to Sauti Kuu. And when he went to Sauti Kuu, they were teaching the young people a lot of things. And then he heard, oh, they're teaching about agriculture. So he said, I'm going to do the agriculture bit. So he learned how to start a kitchen garden, the composting, and then he came back home and he told his grandma, Granny, let's do this. So what the kitchen garden does also is with the vegetables, they're able to plant to eat. So part of our project, which is called Grow to Eat. But because they grow more, the surplus, the grandma takes it to market. And with the money that she gets from the market, she can pay for him some of his school fees. She pays for his books, if he needs a new school bag. So she's able to support him and help him with it. And actually, it's his kitchen garden, so he's actually already earning money. Ingeni mari sani loso pesa, inge mano. Ingeni sani ngama loso pesa gipuothe, inge mano. Ronnie is showing me where they store their vegetables and their grain from their farm. As you can see, they're storing it in his little house. He has his bed here at one end, and at the same time they're storing grain. And as you can see from the grain, and what for me is so important, this is our indigenous maize, more or less. You can see that it's not your perfect white or yellow maize, it's got purple. This is the maize that you can take this and keep it, and when you need to grow your next harvest, you put it in the ground and it'll grow. It is not GMO. And these people can sustain themselves because you don't need money. All you need to have good storage so your grain doesn't get bad. I asked Ronnie about why he prefers to be a farmer eventually, and why doesn't he want to be in an office? Many kids want to go to Nairobi and end up in an office. He just said to me that he realized and appreciated what land and the value of the land is. And I asked him, what did you used to do before? And he said he'd go to the farm because he had to, because his grandmother told him, but he never enjoyed it. He used to think, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I'd rather just go to school. And now he's appreciating and understanding what it means to farm the land. So he does it and enjoys it. So every Saturday he's in his kitchen garden. Every Saturday he's helping his grandmother with the farm when he's not at school.
Discount. E for D? Discount. And now, if discount is in percentage, you know how to convert, isn't it?
Yes.
If you don't have discount, you have selling price and the market price, you can get it. Yes. Isn't it? Yes. So you just see what you have and what you don't have. Use what you have to get what you don't.
See, this is the Sauti Kuu hut. It's our learning hut. We have a library here where the kids learn to read and write and speak English in particular.
25? Yes, yes.
The rural kids, I always feel, and it really frustrates me, they're disadvantaged because they are going and doing exams at every stage in their school life in English, when English is not their first language, it's not their second language, and sometimes it's not even their third language.
On this one. Let's go back to our commission and discount.
How do we equip our children to succeed in that constellation? 3/4 of the rural kids who don't pass exams is not because they're not smart, it's because they didn't understand. They didn't understand the question, and if they understood the question, they couldn't articulate themselves so that they could be understood, so the question could be right, and that is a crime. We are committing a crime to our children because they're not succeeding. And we're giving the wrong impression of who's smart and who's not smart. Just because I speak English doesn't mean I'm smart.
If Auma sells goods, what?
Africans are so much smarter in many ways, so much more flexible, and so much more richer in what they really know and what they contain, the potential in us. Because we adapt, we take on so many cultures, so many languages, and we excel. You know, and still what makes us, that core of what makes us, our own languages, our own traditions, comes too short every time. And as Africans, we need to start appreciating that. That's our story. That's the story the kids need to hear and they need to tell. And that's what needs to be able to be articulated. Whatever language they're then forced to use, it needs to come across. But if they have their own language to start with, and then they're able to relate to the foreign languages that they're dealing with, I mean, nobody can even touch them. We have this teepee, which is now looking a bit faded, and what we call it is the reflection space. We have children that are sometimes very aggressive, and the way they treat each other, I see it every time because that's how they get treated. There are many kids in one family. So when they do that here, we tell them this is a gentle space, this is a space where it's non-threatening, this is a safe space. And any child that is in here, we know that we have to give them their space. I guess I'm the heartbeat of what happens at Sauti Kuu, but I'm not the specialist. So I'm always looking for people who are specialists in this area who have the same vision as I am to come on board and help us with the work we're doing. Because I can do a certain amount, but I don't have all of that deep knowledge. But we have everything here. It's just about unraveling it and exposing it to the community and to the children, to their families, so they start tapping it and start using it to improve their lives. That's really the job that I'm here to do, is to trigger off and to get the partners on board and supporters on board who help me do this. You know, especially people who are specialists in organic farming. This space is actually the vocational center. It's more or less the heart of what we're going to be doing here, because this is a space where youth are going to learn different skills, vocational skills, around construction, everything that has to do with building a house. So what I'm telling the youth at Sauti Kuu is to learn a skill that will earn you money. And with the money you earn, if you can save it well, look after it, you can still educate yourself, you can still go to university, you can still get that degree to become a doctor, an architect, or whatever. We're hoping that we'll be able to make it a space that the community uses as well. And that way, as we try to make the families sustainable economically in the way they live their lives and give them food security and livelihood security, we also as an organization have to look at how we give ourselves security and how we become sustainable. Traditionally, we had something called a dero. We built a storage space and all our grain was stored there, and it lasted us the whole year. So people trusted each other, nobody stole from each other because everybody had their own grain. And what happened is now, because people are poorer, crime has infiltrated the community, so you can't have that kind of storage. So what we have done, which is unprecedented and unusual, is we've created a storing space. And the whole of the bottom of the vocational center is a basement. This is going to be the space where the families, the community is going to be able to store their grain. So what happens there is that we're ensuring food security, not just for our families and our children, but also for the community, but we're also ensuring the monies are coming in so we can also sustain ourselves. Even though we say use what you have to get what you need, we're also saying they must be challenging the idea of getting things just for free. You know, what's in it for them, what's in it for us? And Sauti Kuu, the non-profit, and we're able to work at the way we work is because we're able to teach our beneficiaries that they too must also contribute. They too must also give something towards what we're doing for them, because otherwise they don't value it. I'm so excited about this project, especially here. I can't wait for when this is full of grainage stored and we're organized and it's the drought period and the families are coming and saying, oh, I need to go into store B because I need to pick up my stuff, I'm taking it to market. I need to make some money, I need to feed my family, and I'm able to. That's going to be a big, big special day, so I can't wait.